Are you excited to share your online course with the world, but you're not really sure how to sell it? Maybe you're not super confident in your sales skills or not sure how to sell it beyond the initial launch. Or maybe you have an existing course that's just sitting there, not earning you the cash you want, and you want a system to be able to sell it on demand. If so, don't worry, I got your back. I'm Omar Zenhom, and before I started my businesses in the educational space, I was actually a school teacher. I was a high school and university teacher for 13 years. I spent 13 years in the classroom, so you're in good hands for the next 15 minutes in this workshop. In this short 15-minute workshop, I'm going to show you the key steps to getting new students, getting more revenue, and getting happy customers so that you have a successful online course. Even if you've never sold an online course before, this is a very simple system that you can implement right away. So how does this all work? Well, the first step is to download the PDF worksheet that's on this page. You'll need it because by the end of the video, you'll have that worksheet completed and you'll be ready to sell your online course. So have that PDF with you. Either have it on your computer and annotate it on your screen, or go old school and just print it out and use a pen to fill it out. So you can pause the video right now if you want to, because you're going to need that PDF, so go ahead and do that right now. Okay, let's get started. First of all, what is the online course sales machine? Well, it's an easy to implement system to sell your online course. Now, I call it sales machine because machines do things for you, okay? So you're gonna set up this system today so that you can continually, easily sell your course in an ongoing fashion. There are 3 key steps to the online course sales machine. Number 1, attract. Number 2, convert. And number 3, retain. These 3 together act like a flywheel that propel your online course sales. More about this flywheel later. When you attract people to your online course, you don't want to attract everybody directly. This is one of the biggest mistakes a lot of online course creators make. They try to sell their online course to everybody immediately. If you've ever posted a link to your online course on social media, you are guilty of this. You're basically saying, anybody that I know, look at my course and buy it. Now, that may have made sense in the moment when you posted it on social, but this does not work. You're asking people, everybody that you know, to buy something they don't believe in or know anything about yet. That's not how sales work. Think about the last time you bought something, okay? You bought it because you got to the point where you believed this will give you an ROI. Either it's going to help you, or it's going to make you feel good, or you are going to like it. But at some point, you had to go through that process of knowing what it is and believing it's going to give you what you want. So the first step in selling your course is not to sell the course. It's to educate them. It's to build trust with them. It's to make them understand what you offer so they can start understanding and believing in you and your product. But it's also a step for you to qualify buyers. You don't want to sell to people that don't want to buy. That's the most frustrating situation to be in. You want to sell people that just need a little bit more information to be convinced that they want to buy. You want buyers in front of you before you start selling. So how do we do this? Well, we're going to build an automated system to build trust, to gain credibility, and qualify buyers. And we're going to do this with an automated webinar. Now, as we know, not all automated webinars are created equal. I'm going to show you how to create a special, attractive automated webinar that's going to attract the leads you want that are going to convert into sales. The first step is to choose a topic for your automated webinar, and you're going to do this right now on your worksheet. Now, this is actually quite simple. I want you to look at your online course, the course you're trying to sell, and I want you to choose a lesson that addresses one of the biggest pain points your audience has. That lesson is going to become your automated webinar topic. For example, if I have a beginner's course on snowboarding, I'm going to choose a lesson that a lot of people are interested in or really struggle with, like getting off the ski lift on a snowboard. So I'm going to create an automated webinar on that one lesson that's in my course so that it's congruent, but also it's attractive. It's something that people struggle with, is something that people want answers for. That lesson becomes your automated webinar. Now, all you got to do is shoot a short video. just like this one, a 15, 20-minute video where you teach this lesson. You're gonna give maximum value and teach it just like you taught it in your online course. The difference is at the end of this video, you're gonna have a call to action. And this call to action is going to invite them to a live webinar, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But that live webinar is where you're going to sell your online course. And in fact, in your call to action, you want to make it clear that, hey, I have an online course, and it goes into depth in this topic beyond this one lesson. If you want to learn more about snowboarding, for example, then you're going to want to learn more about my online course. I'm going to do a live webinar with a live demo of what's included in the course and what are some of the results you should expect by completing the course. Now, why am I doing this? It's because I want to invite buyers to my live webinar, which is my sales webinar. And I only want to tell them to come if they want to buy, if they're interested in buying. And that's why I package it as a demo. I say, come and see what my online course is all about. If you'd like today's lesson, then you're going to love my online course, learn more about it in my live webinar. Once you record that lesson, that video for your automated webinar, you're now going to create the actual system, the automated webinar, so you can put that video inside the automated webinar itself. And this is super, super simple, and I'll show you right now inside of Webinar Ninja how to do that. So that's the next step. You're going to create the automated webinar in Webinar Ninja. Let me show you how. Inside of Webinar Ninja, you're going to hit Create New Webinar. From there, you're going to choose Automated Webinar, and then you're going to put the title of your webinar. This is the title of your automated webinar, the title of the lesson that you took from your course. In my case, is how to get off a ski lift on a snowboard, in my example. And then I'm going to choose when I'd like to offer this automated webinar, what dates I want to make available to my audience. I can even do watch now, which is on demand as well. From there, I'm going to add my video file, the video that I recorded for my automated webinar. And then hit Create Webinar. Your webinar is created. You can now edit things like your registration page, your email notifications. Let's go and take a look at the registration page. There are several templates you could choose from. You can go with the simple one and edit things like the image background here. Okay, I've uploaded an image that goes for this topic, and it's all set. You can edit all different kinds of things. I'll let you play around with this once you're in there. Okay. Now we can even change the cover image. This is the image that represents the webinar on social media. I can just use the same image if I like. All set. Then publish your webinar so you can share it with the world. You can choose public or private. You're all set. All right, you should have completed now the first 3 steps in the online course sales machine. Check your PDF, make sure that it's all good. Now, we said the first part is attract, where we run our automated webinar. Now let's talk about convert. That's that live webinar that we talked about that we invited our leads to, the people that signed up for my automated webinar. This is where I convert people into customers. They're gonna buy my online course because they got a taste of what they can learn in my automated webinar. I've earned trust. I've earned credibility. I've qualified them as a buyer because I asked them, hey, if you want to learn more about my course, come to my live webinar. Now, everybody that comes to my live webinar is going to be interested in buying. That's why they're there. So now your job on that live webinar is to simply show them and don't sell them. You don't have to sell anything. You just got to show them what's going to happen when they buy your course. What are the results they're going to get? What are some of the things that they're going to experience? What are some of the modules they're going to learn about and all the different lessons and all the takeaways and everything that's included in your awesome course? Now, what's awesome about a live webinar is that you get to answer questions immediately. And we have a Q&A section right inside of Webinar Ninja that makes it super simple to do that. So your next step is to create your live webinar, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that right now inside of Webinar Ninja. Inside of Webinar Ninja, you're going to hit Create New Webinar, and then from there, you're going to choose Live Webinar. From there, you're going to choose your title. You're going to write down basically the name of your course. In my fictional example, it's Become a World-Class Snowboarder. And then I'm going to hit Create Webinar. My webinar is created. It's all done. I can then edit things like my registration page and my email notifications, all that jazz. Again, I can choose images, I can upload images. to suit my course title. That looks good. And I'm going to hit save. I have some save options here. And I'm all done editing my registration page. I can then edit the image that represents the webinar so that when I share it on social, it will show the image that I like. I can then publish my webinar. I can make it public or private, up to me, and it's all set. All right, so now that you've created your live webinar, you're gonna then take the live webinar link and you're going to put it in the offer of the automated webinar you created. Because remember, you're inviting people to that live webinar in that automated webinar. Now your automated webinar is ready to go, okay? Let's go back to the live webinar and make sure, again, you're gonna create an offer for your audience to, guess what? Buy your online course. And you could do that right inside of Webinar Ninja like this. Next, you're going to want to set up your webinar replay settings to make sure that people can watch the replay of this live webinar well past the live broadcast so that you can get sales even after the live webinar is over. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Now, one more thing I want you to do. You need to follow up. A lot of people lose sales because they don't follow up. Luckily, inside of Webinar Ninja, you can build follow-up sequences, email follow-up sequences with everybody that have registered to that live webinar. Now, I want you to set up 5 follow-up emails. I like to go with a 5-day sequence, meaning the day that the webinar is over, where I send a replay out, and then 4 more reminding people of the offer to sign up for my course. Now, if your course ends at a certain date, so you're going to want to work backwards from there, if you close enrollment, for example. But I like to remind people regardless 5 times after the webinar is over to buy my offer. People like reminders, and they need them because we're bombarded from every angle with social media, with notifications. We need to get more than one reminder that, hey, you need to buy this course. Let me show you how to set up those emails right now inside of Webinar Ninja. Okay, your live webinar is all set. All you got to do now is run your live webinar at your set date and time. Now, a lot of people ask me, Omar, how often should I do this live webinar? Well, it depends how often you're offering your course. Some people, they do a cohorted course, meaning they open and close the course at certain dates. So you can use those dates to do your live webinar beforehand, like a week before you close the enrollment. But if your course is available at all times, then a good rule of thumb is every 2 weeks. This allows your automated webinar to qualify buyers and fill your live webinar registration every 2 weeks with a good audience to do a demo for and sell your course. All right, we've attracted our buyers. We've converted them into customers. We have completed 5 steps of the system. We have one more step, and that's to retain customers. It's super important for you to continually add value to your existing customers. Even if your course is a one-off sale, meaning that it's not a membership where they continually pay you every month or every year, it's important for you to continually give value. Why? Because this is not the last purchase they're going to make from you. It's so much easier to sell to existing customers your next new thing, your next course, your next coaching, your next product, than to sell to a fresh person that doesn't know anything about you. So what I recommend is you run a retention webinar. This works like magic. And we do this at Webinar Ninja for all our customers, and it's been a fantastic practice. Once a month, you're gonna run a members-only webinar, a customers-only webinar, and you're gonna invite all your current customers, your past customers, anybody who's bought from you before your courses, and you're going to invite them. And you're basically going to do open Q&A, you're going to do some free coaching, and it allows you to connect with your audience. Here's a little secret. People like seeing you. They probably bought the course because they liked you. They liked your style and they want to get more of you. So give it to them, okay? So do a once a month retention webinar. And this is basically a live webinar that you invite all your students. Now, in Webinar Ninja, you can upload all the students that are in your course to a webinar and automatically register them. So you can do this very simply and have them attend your monthly members or monthly customer webinar every single month. Now, I recommend you do these 3 things in your monthly retention webinars. Number 1, run a poll. Learn more about your customers, about your students. The more you know about them, the better you'll be able to serve them now and in the future. The next time you create something, next iteration of your course, this is gold. This is free research and development. Big companies spend big dollars to do this, and you could do it for free. So run polls. Find out what they like, what they don't like, what they use, what they don't use, all that kind of stuff. Next, ask your customers what their favorite thing is about your course, about your training, about whatever you offer. Why? Because in the chat, they're going to tell you what they love most, and that becomes a testimonial. These webinars become a testimonial machine. And what's awesome about this is that you can just simply email the person. You have their email right inside of Webinar Ninja, and you can just go ahead and email them and say, hey, can I use this quote, this little piece of praise that you gave me in the webinar today for a testimonial? And in my 20 years, I've never got a no, okay? You might get a couple no's. I'm not saying it's impossible to get a no's, but you'll get a lot more yeses than no's. So you can use these testimonials on your sales pages, on your website, on your course sales pages, so you can promote your course. The third thing I recommend you do in these retention webinars is offer your customers something to buy. Your customers love you, okay? They're on this webinar because they're fans, okay? And they want more from you. So it's your obligation to serve them. So if you have a new coaching program, a new course, or even you're going to pre-sell something, offer it to them, okay? Even if it's something free, like subscribing to your YouTube channel or your podcast, have a call to action and offer them something more. Give them more value. They'll love you for it because that's why they're here. They love what you do. They love what you offer. Well, there you have it, guys. That is the online course sales machine. 3 parts. We're going to attract with an automated webinar. We're going to convert with our live sales webinar, and we're going to retain with our live retention members only webinar. Remember that flywheel I talked about? Well, these 3 parts work together to propel your sales. You attract your ideal customer, you then convert them into an actual buyer, and then you retain them, and they give you great testimonials so that you can then attract new customers. It's fantastic. Thanks so much for being with me today, going through your worksheet. Make sure it's all completed and jump into Webinar Ninja and build this right now. You got the momentum, you have the information. It's super simple to implement. Don't forget, you can always reach out to our team at support@webinarninja.com or chat with them on our website if you need any help 24/7. Thanks again, and I'll see you around inside our own members webinar. Take care.